Alrighty, folks. So we'll go ahead and get started. Like I said, don't hesitate to unmute yourself if you have any questions. Uh, and with that, we'll just go ahead and get started. All right. So again, this is going to be called our new platform, which is Summit Control Sierra. With the release of this new software version, we have introducing significant enhancements that we aim to improve user experience, efficiency, and just overall performance. Um, just to kind of give you a little bit of background, our original platform, Summit Control, which we're calling Legacy at this point, kind of started with a basic residential setup in mind, and then it was kind of grown from there to a multi-tenant or commercial setup. And with that, it was just kind of limited as far as to what it could accomplish and how easy it would be for those multi-tenant and business setups to accomplish certain things that they want to do with access control. Um, so with Sierra, what we decided to do was reverse that. So starting from a large scale platform and then scaling down for smaller residential setups. So it makes it a lot easier for your commercial applications as well as multi-tenant applications to be able to manage multiple locations, multiple sites. As a dealer, to be able to get residuals on that, activate all the accounts under your own account, and have different sites that you can manage. You can assign admins to certain sites if you want to give them the ability to control their codes while you still maintain overall control over all the accounts. So everything is going to be user and group based in Summit Control Sierra, and I'll kind of get into that here in just a bit once we get to the demo. But that allows you to tie everything to a user and then set your preferences in a group that you put that user in. So if you only want a certain group of individuals to be able to access a certain door, you set that group to be able to access that door with set hours and whatnot, and then you just assign that user with all their credentials to that particular group. But again, we'll get into that more once we go into the live demo, so I can show you guys everything that we have. So a couple of things that have been done is a redesigned user interface. We've tried to make it more modern and sleek, improved navigation as well as accessibility, and a more cohesive user experience. With that, we've also enhanced the user workflow, making it more efficient as well as user friendly and easier to access key functionalities and perform tasks quickly. Also, another addition to Sierra will be the live dashboard. So everything updates live. I'm not sure if you guys have been able to go into some of the legacy accounts and see them firsthand, but you would have to like refresh the page to get the most up-to-date information, and that's no longer required as the page auto refreshes on its own. Some back-end improvements would be performance enhancements to ensure faster response times and processing. Um, Users can expect to have more efficient and seamless experience, especially with working with larger user sets and heavy traffic or large commercial operations, like I mentioned before. Again, designed from the top end down, so it's pretty much designed for scalability and stability. Designed to handle increased workloads and improved scalability. So easily, effortlessly accommodate growing data volumes and user demands, ensuring smoother operations for all. With that, we've also added advanced security features. So that's going to be enhanced encryption protocols as well as advanced threat detections. And we've kind of used Google as a skeleton for that security measure. So we tried to make it as secure as possible to protect sensitive data that may be on these accounts. And with that said, we'll just kind of dive in. Does anybody have any questions to start with? All right. So what we're looking at first here is just site management. So let's say, for instance, I'm a property management company. I have several sites across the city or across the state. I can have different sites here that I want to look at. You guys should all be able to see my screen. But here, I have two different locations. We're going to go ahead and dive into this one. And we'll see I have three devices at this particular location, west entrance, a main entry, as well as a south entry. It automatically tells me if these devices are online, if they were offline or in some kind of intermediate state, this would change color as well as give me a different wording here. So it would say offline or connecting or warning or out of sync, which would like I said, a live update. So a lot more user friendly than our previous system. Everything is easily accessible from this page here, and we'll kind of go into that. So again, as I was stating before, everything is going to be user and group based. So let's say I have these three entries on this site here. What I would like to do is just create a user group. Let's just say main entrance one. And I can come in and just decide this group only has access to the main entry, not the west or south. I want them to be able to open the main entry and the pedestrian gate at that main entry. Only open commands only. And I want them to be able to use just the app. I'm going to turn on this advanced, which is going to give me access to scheduling configurations as well as my wigging configuration for any kind of wigging devices I may have. I want the keypad to operate the main entry only, and I'm going to have Wiggin 1 operate my pedestrian gate. Don't want the pedestrian gate to work on Saturdays or Sundays, so I'm going to turn that off. Go next. It says all users currently assigned to another user group, just because I haven't created a user for this particular group. But we'll go ahead and go to next, which will give me a summary of everything that I've done. It'll tell you everything that you've set up, uh, when they have access, as well as the group users that will be in that group. Go ahead and create that group. Then we'll go back and create a user to go in that group. So previously before, you would have to go to three different areas to be able to create a profile, especially on a multi-tenant setup. You'd have to create a user profile, which would allow you to create app access, text, and voice access. Then you'd have to go to access codes to create an access code for that particular user, as well as navigate to the directory to create a directory contact. After creating that directory contact, then you would have to go to the settings and then sync that directory. So again, we've tried to make it a lot more enhanced and smoother for the user. So everything is done right here from this user profile to be able to create all your entries for this particular user. They're all tied together. So when you delete this user, it deletes them out of the app as well as the directory and their access code. So we'll just go ahead and say Jane Doe. Auto generates a password, but you could change that if you wanted to. And you'll notice here it's got a push button or a checkbox for notifications or to add them as a directory contact. And as you fill in other information, you'll have other possibilities available. I'm just going to put my email address in there. So now you'll see some additional options appear. I would like to text this user their credentials as well as add them to the directory. And I want to assign them to this main entrance group 1 only. I would also like this person to be able to get push notifications uh, whenever they receive access. So if somebody uses their code or tries to contact them via the directory, um, then they'll receive those push notifications. Okay, set text and email as well, depending on which plan you have selected, as they are only available on the higher tier plans. But if I did want this user to get notifications in all three methods, I can go ahead and check that box. Like her display name to be Jane. What will show up on the directory itself in there. And just like our old system, you do have the options for call codes. So you can go ahead and type a call code in here, which is just a shortcut to be able to reach them in a directory a lot quicker. So we'll just say, and when you use a call code, you do dial star ahead of that call code. So if I pulled up and I wanted to visit Jane, I didn't want to scroll through the directory to find her. I could just hit star and then 8585, and then that would call her instead of me scrolling through the directory. All right, so now we have her user profile created for the app. We have notifications set as well as her directory contact. Now I want to add a code for her. Let's just say her code is going to be 5555. And then I'd like to add a card for that pedestrian gate. Oh, already tells me that's in use. So set to something else. Go ahead and set my facility code, the Wigan credential, and I could add an additional code as well. Let's say I want to give her a visitor code, and then I'm done. So I've created everything for her. I'm going to go ahead and hit add user. And you'll notice this box pop up right here. Devices are syncing. So now that I've added new information for that particular device, it's going to auto sync everything. It's going to add her to the directory. It's going to add her codes as well as her Wigan credential for the pedestrian gate that we set that on. Now we'll just go back to dashboard. We'll let it finish syncing up, and you can actually follow the sync here. It's going to show up in the activity log once it's finished, and it'll tell me exactly what it's doing. I can view the status if I want. If I want to go ahead and force it through, I can just push these buttons, um, but it will auto sync as well, so you don't really have to worry about that. And you'll see the syncing, it's already synced to keypad. Uh, yep. So you can just kind of follow along as it completes everything, and it will give you a warning if there's any type of issue. Um, So you'll see a star if the device is out of sync or it had an issue syncing any of the information. It'll also show up in yellow here in the activity log. So again, we'll try to make everything a lot easier for the user um, and to be able to integrate everything a lot quicker by basing everything off of that user profile and then setting their permissions and guidelines in that group. So scrolling through, we'll take a look at devices. And we'll just look at a basic X1. So here, from the dashboard or on the device details, I can view all the activities specifically just for this one device. I can also set up the call button, which is going to be based on different users that you have. And that's going to auto update there. I can take a look at all the access codes I have. Maybe I need to edit one for someone on this particular device, or I need to delete that particular code from this device. Can do so right here very easily. And I have a schedule here that I can set. Let's say I want this gate to be open during the week, 8 to 5. I can easily come in here and set that schedule um, for each of those days. Now we still do have the holiday schedule as well, which allows you to override that 7-day schedule, usually in a business setting. Let's say, for instance, on Christmas, I don't want the gate to open. If that's during one of my open schedules, I can go ahead and put that in there. And we have our settings as well, where I can adjust my relay output times, my speaker volumes, as well as my DTMF settings. For those that don't know, DTMF are the numbers that you use. So let's say in a multi-tenant setup, you get a call from the device. You're one of the residents. It's your pizza delivery guy telling you he's there at the gate. To open relay A, you would just press the number 1 on your phone. Now, a lot of people are used to 9 from other systems, so this is configurable where you can change it to whichever digit you like, or you could disable it if you don't want people to use that feature. Often we will disable the latching feature so residents will not be able to latch it from their phone. Still have the gate status, which you could turn on here in the settings, as well as all your event and digital input settings. Another cool feature that a lot of people have been asking for, which we were doing on the back end in Legacy, is to ignore facility codes. So now you can just easily do that from your desktop. Let's say I want to ignore all the facility codes for my windshield tags or cards. I can go ahead and do that from here. Adjust my camera settings and which inputs actually trigger a photo. After I complete all of that, I'll just go ahead and hit update. And you'll see again all your updates show here in the activity log to let you know that everything went through okay. More basic information here is your device phone number, which is the number that the device will call from. So that always stays the same as long as the SIM card is not changed out. And then your control number, which is what they can use to text or call the device as an alternate method to be able to open the gate. So they could text this number the word open or latch or whatever abilities they have done so as long as that group is set up to have that ability. You can also call this number. It'll say, hello, Jane Doe, or whichever user I created. Press 1 to open the front gate. So it'll tell you exactly what to do. You also have your options to be able to trigger a photo right here from the desktop, or if you feel the need to sync the codes and cards again, if you see something that said it was out of sync, you could do that, as well as restart the device here via a power reset, if as long as it's online, if you feel for whatever reason you need to restart it. Another cool feature is the ability to be able to control the relays right here from the desktop. So I can click that and trigger it. So it's still going to show that I just used the web app to open that entrance. Or I could latch this relay. So again, we just tried to make it a lot more intuitive. Going along here. Let's say I just need to take a look at the directory for my multi-tenant setup. I can come in here, take a look at my contacts. Let's say I need to edit a name or I want to delete the group or manage contacts. It's all easily accessible from multiple touch points. Kind of back to what I was talking about before with the different sites as well as a lot of things that we were looking for were dealers were really looking for, I'm sorry, is that they wanted the ability to be able to manage all their installs. Let's say they've done an install at apartment complex A, apartment complex B, and C. Here, easily they'll be able to, again, manage those different sites. They could put them all on different sites if they want it, or they could just have the devices individualized on a one account if they wanted to do so. So I really like that feature, and that's a big thing that people were asking for. So we always try to take everyone's input into account when creating these systems. Let's just take a look at the activity log, which is going to show me all the activity for this particular site. Shows me, like I said, instantaneously, auto updates everything right here, and we should get a photo here shortly as well. Also have the ability to run reports. So let's say a lot of times in commercial setups, they'll want to see, what door is being used or what a particular user has been doing throughout the day. So I could come in here and select a time frame. And let's say, actually, I don't want to do a time. Let's just do a date. And I want to see activity for all of my entrances, but I only want to see it for one user. All activity. Then I would just hit apply, or perhaps this is a report I want to run more often. I could just save this report, but once I hit apply, then this will update everything here. And then you can also export that data out to a CSV file or, I'm sorry, Excel sheet. You also can get graphs and whatnot. I also have a user guide here via the support tab, which you can click to help you learn how to use the system. And then another thing I did want to show was again in the activity log, I can drill down right from the activity log to a specific entrance or a specific user. Let's say I just want to see what this particular person has been doing. Uh, I want to take a look at all of Zach's activity. I want to see what codes he has. Maybe I want to put him in a different group. I can do all of that easily directly from the activity log. Let's say I also maybe I just want to see what's going on at a particular entrance. I can drill down directly to that entrance and take a look and see what's going on. So we try to make it as simple as possible, and also just kind of have everything available that you would want to see right off of your dashboard at the very beginning of the process. Um, but that's pretty much it, guys. We're very excited to be introduced this. Right now, we do have probably close to 200 accounts on here. All new signups since June 1st have been going to Sierra, so we're kind of happy with the results right now. But we want to continue to test it before we start moving over existing accounts to this system. Right now, we're looking tentatively at September 1st for all uh, super basic like residential accounts, and probably closer to the 15th for your more complicated commercial or multi-tenant setups to transfer them over from legacy to this system. So, uh, yeah, we're super excited. Does anybody have any questions about anything or want to see anything more in detail or specific uh, issues or things that you wanted to see in this particular demo?
Will the legacy still be accessible after a certain date, or will everything be moved to the Sierra?
I believe Legacy will stay active because some people are just going to prefer to stay on there. Right now, it is kind of busting at the seams, so we do want to move over a lot of people, but I do believe the plan is to keep Legacy active. Yes, sir. Any other questions? Perfect. All right. Well, if you guys have anything or you think of anything after, you do have my email address as well as my contact information should be in there, but don't hesitate to reach out. And thank you guys for joining, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a great weekend.